And inside, there's our old friend, the sun.
Gabriel, muy buenas noches.
¿Qué tal? Buenas noches.
Muy buenas noches. Gabriel, voy a empezar por ti, porque ¿tú crees que el diablo puede tener seguidores en el interior de la Iglesia Católica, Gabriel?
Sí, estoy plenamente convencido de que así es. Esto ha sido reconocido hace mucho tiempo por la jerarquía. Lo que la jerarquía niega es que este hecho sea masivo, que tenga mucha repercusión y al mismo tiempo que estén implicados altos jerarcas de la Iglesia, pero que siempre ha habido satanismo en el interior de algunas dependencias, de algunos monasterios, de algunas, incluso del Vaticano en una época remota, en una época renacentista. Pues esto sí ha sido reconocido por la Iglesia. En cuanto a las declaraciones del padre Malachi Martín, han sido calificadas un tanto de excéntricas por los círculos vaticanos, han sido consideradas como fuera de lugar y han sido desmentidas. Sin embargo, algo debe haber de esto, porque Pablo VI, por ejemplo, declaró, que era el Papa que gobernaba en aquella época la Iglesia, declaró que el humo de Satanás ha entrado en el recinto de la Iglesia católica. Y esto sugiere, junto con las denuncias de los grupos disidentes de prelados conocidos como los milenarios, pues sugiere que sí que puede haber algún fundamento. Al fin y al cabo, la Iglesia es una organización formada por personas, y el satanismo pues está presente en multitud de organizaciones humanas,
¿pero quién
empresariales, políticas, religiosas, sectarias, de todo tipo. Hay elementos satánicos donde uno menos lo espera, como digo en mi libro, precisamente.
Now, I personally am a Christian, but even an atheist should be concerned about the information we're about to bring forward in this new documentary film, The Dark Secrets Inside Bohemian Grove. You see, for over 120-plus years in Northern California, in Sonoma County, on a 2,700-acre secluded redwood grove, leaders from around the world, prime ministers, chancellors, presidents, governors, again, the heads of industry, banking, academia, the media, Hollywood, only a select few, a little over 2,000 people, travel there to engage in bizarre, ancient Canaanite, Luciferian, Babylon mystery religion ceremonies. At least that was the rumors. And so I went to the library and got on the internet and saw many of the mainstream news articles admitting that world leaders do indeed go there, and they fly into San Francisco and other surrounding cities and drive out into the rural hills and mountains of Northern California, and that these stories have been coming out that they worship some 45-foot stone owl god. And then I began to read some of the documentation on this Moloch character of the Old Testament, mentioned many times in Leviticus. That's in the Bible. Why are world leaders traveling to the middle of nowhere to worship this thing? Well, I had to check it out for myself. And I'm proud of my team, the Bohemian Grove. The Bohemian Club, as it's known today, was founded in 1873 in San Francisco in Northern California. Many of the club's original annals, dating back to before the turn of the century, admit that local artists, writers, newspapermen, you name it, wanted a place away from the so-called backwardsness of the West Coast, the Judeo-Christian ethic. They found that place an hour and a half north of San Francisco, outside of the tiny town of Monterrey. Their annals even admit an obsession with the occult and what they called Druid rituals. Amongst the great redwood trees, they revived ancient ceremonies that in truth had their roots not in the Druids, but in Babylon itself. As the railroads brought commerce and larger populations, the prestige of the club grew until, in the year 2000, it is a gathering place for the world establishment, the elite. We're about to show you some of the key evidence documenting this. It is absolutely central to understand that these bizarre activities have been engaged in going back to 1873 and are not some new fanciful whim of the trendies on the West Coast. By the turn of the century, there was already a 10 to 15-year waiting list. Presidents from Howard Taft to Herbert Hoover were on the membership roster. Not to mention, later, famous war general Dwight D. Eisenhower, later to become president. The roster of the Bohemian Club reads like a who's who of the elite. Look at this photo taken inside the Grove back in 1963. There you'll see Ronald Reagan, and sitting two people over from him, later to become president, Richard Milhouse Nixon. Frankly, we don't know if these men actively enjoy the things that go on inside the Bohemian Club. But one thing is perfectly certain from the evidence. They are forced to go and attend and take part in these activities if they wish to be elevated to the highest levels of the geopolitical power structure. Take George Bush Sr., documented member. And then, of course, there's his son. Now, the last four generations of Bushes have also attended the Skull and Bones Society at Yale, well known to be steeped in the occult. Then there's Bill Clinton, a frequent attendee. Upon closer inspection, the entire federal government at the highest levels is infested with Bohemian Club members. And it doesn't stop there. America's private run-for-profit Federal Reserve Bank, from its very inception in 1913, has been run by prominent members of the Bohemian Club. Central Bank Chairman Alan Greenspan was seen leaving the Bohemian Grove only 1 month before he was appointed chairman of the Federal Reserve. He had to be a made man to be a member of the most powerful cabal on the planet. Historical record. These people are deadly serious, those taking part in the ceremony. Another point, the pyrotechnics you're seeing going off were being released from beneath little wrought iron crosses about 1.5 feet tall. Also, notice the screams of pain coming from the sacrifice.
Eternal flame. Once again, midsummer sets us free.
One of the facets of the ritual that goes deeply into the occult, again, we've already mentioned the Druids at their bonfires throwing
throwing bodies into fiery pits.
What do you want me to talk about?
Yeah.
A fraud? No, it wasn't a fraud, but I'll be glad to talk to you if you'll shut up and let me talk. And a fraud, let me tell you something. I'll tell you a couple of stories about fraud. The Bohemian Club, as you say, the Bohemian Club? That's where all those rich Republicans go up and stand naked against redwood trees, right? I've never been to the Bohemian Club, but you ought to go. It'd be good for you. Get some fresh air.